Coming up on Mountain News at 5:30, Super Tuesday was a turning point for the 2024 presidential election. We'll take a look at how some of the biggest names in Washington are responding. And will TikTok be banned in the U.S.? The answer to the question is unclear, why legislators are still debating the issue.
Plus, wet weather will linger this evening, but a short break is on the way. Your forecast coming up as Mountain News at 5:30 starts now.
Dedicated to Southern and Eastern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News at 5:30.
Good evening, I'm Steve Hensley. After a string of losses, Nikki Haley is throwing in the towel, but stopping short of endorsing former President Donald Trump. WYMT Washington Bureau reporter Molly Martinez joins us now with a look at what's next.
The time has now come to suspend my campaign.
After failing to gain momentum on the campaign trail, Nikki Haley is stepping aside, clearing the path for a Trump-Biden rematch come November. But George Washington University professor Todd Belt says this likely isn't the last we'll see of Haley.
She's laying the groundwork for 2028. And by that, I mean she's trying to get the three critical resources for winning. Those are endorsements, campaign fundraising, and volunteers.
News of her departure drew the attention of both frontrunners, who made their pitches to Haley's supporters, who are now caught in limbo. Donald Trump taking to Truth Social, first gloating that Haley got, quote, trounced, before adding he'd like to invite all of the Haley supporters to join the greatest movement in the history of our nation. President Biden released a statement saying Donald Trump made it clear he doesn't want Nikki Haley supporters. I want to be clear, there's a place for them in my campaign. As for Haley, she stopped short of endorsing the former president.
In all likelihood, Donald Trump will be the Republican nominee when our party convention meets in July. I congratulate him and wish him well.
Donald Trump is still a few delegates shy of the magic 1,215 number needed to secure that nomination. He could clinch those as early as March 12th, when voters in Georgia, Mississippi, and Washington head to the polls. In Washington, I'm Molly Martinez.
Kentucky Senator and outgoing Senate Republican leader Mitch McConnell is endorsing Donald Trump for president. At one time, McConnell was a critic of the former president, blaming him for the January 6, 2021 Capitol attack. McConnell declared his support for Trump following his Super Tuesday wins. Before the announcement, the two men had not spoken since 2020, when McConnell declared Democrat Joe Biden the winner of that year's presidential election. Ahead of the State of the Union address Thursday, the White House is hinting that President Biden will be announcing fresh economic policies. WYMT Washington correspondent Stetson Miller gives us a preview of what the president could be talking about when it comes to the economy.
The economy has been a huge focus for the Biden administration, with it coining the term Bidenomics, and it certainly will be an important part of the president's State of the Union speech on Thursday night. New polling from the Pew Research Center shows strengthening the economy is the top issue on voters' minds as they head to the polls this year. And the president will try to make the case during the State of the Union that several laws he's helped pass have made the economy better for the country.
As we approach the State of the Union, the president will focus on his work so far, but also an agenda going forward on how he will lower costs.
At a Bidenomics briefing at the White House on Tuesday, members of the president's economics team spoke about some of what the president will lay out in his speech, including how his policies are lowering prices.
He is going to keep fighting for working families, and that is what you will hear from him on Thursday. So there is a lot that the president has accomplished, and you'll hear more on that from him directly, but the bottom line is he is not taking his foot off the gas when it comes to lowering it.
National Business Advisor for President Biden's 2020 campaign, Rhett Buttle, says the president will have a lot to positively highlight.
You have the infrastructure law, which a lot of folks have heard about, the Chips and Sciences Act, the Inflation Reduction Act, as well as the American Rescue Plan, and combined over $1 trillion coming down from the federal government into local economies.
The White House also focused on housing costs, a key concern for Americans.
Higher interest rates is a significant challenge on home ownership, and of course, rents have been going up for over the last decade, but we know that that's a particular squeeze. So the president will speak to these issues.
In Washington, I'm Stetson Miller.
You can watch the State of the Union address tomorrow night at 9 p.m. right here on WYMT. The House has passed a $460 billion package of spending bills. This would keep money flowing to key federal agencies through the remainder of the budget year. The Senate is expected to take up the legislation before a midnight Friday shutdown deadline. Lawmakers are negotiating a second package of 6 bills, including defense, in an effort to have all federal agencies fully funded before a March 22nd deadline. The Federal Reserve is in no rush to cut interest rates. That's according to Fed Chair Jerome Powell's written testimony submitted to congressional lawmakers released today. The sentiment means more pain for Americans who have already faced almost 2 years of elevated borrowing costs on everything from car loans to mortgages. Powell is on Capitol Hill this week to give a semi-annual report on the central bank's actions since this summer.
Well, we promised an ugly day on this Wednesday, and that delivered as we had plenty of cloud cover, also plenty of widespread rain showers. Still watching out for a few light showers, though, as we go into this evening, especially in the Big Sandy Valley. Some light sprinkles in Paintsville, also pushing into Martin County, Floyd County, also in Pike County at this hour. And same story for southern Kentucky, also into southwest Virginia. Some light to moderate showers in this location as well. But we are tracking a slow drying trend as we go into this evening. But check out these live cameras across the region. We are gloomy, also soggy, and yes, that camera at Buffalo Mountain is working, but we're extremely foggy as you go up in elevation over in Perry County at this hour. Those current readings are close to average in the middle to upper 50s, up to 57 for Jackson, 58 for Manchester, also in Harlan, 54 in Hazard and Pikeville, and 59 over in Laurel County for London at this hour. As we go into this evening, a few more showers are possible, but we are tracking a slow drying trend as we go into late Wednesday, also for your Thursday. Enjoy the dry weather tomorrow because rain chances are set to increase once again by Friday, also to kick off this weekend. All those details coming up in just a little bit. Steve?
Cameron, thank you. TikTok is coming under scrutiny due to national security concerns posed by its Chinese ownership. A bipartisan group of representatives introduced legislation Tuesday that would give the social media app's parent company about 6 months to divest TikTok or face a ban in the U.S. CBS's Jolene Kent reports from Washington.
Popularized by its viral dance videos,
I got a big old glass of milk.
and wild storytellers.
It is so many red flags that, I mean, you would have thought I was colorblind.
TikTok might be living on borrowed time. New bipartisan legislation introduced by House committee leaders would force the app to divest from its parent company, Chinese-owned ByteDance, or be banned in the U.S.
If an entity other than a CCP-controlled entity owns TikTok, Americans can still share whatever content they like, no matter how bad the dance moves may be.
Lawmakers have tried and failed to pass similar bills previously. ByteDance has long faced national security concerns that it would share U.S. users' data with the Chinese government. TikTok has denied those claims. In a statement, it said this bill is an outright ban, adding that it will trample First Amendment rights.
If there is a separation, the app can remain in the United States. Through this bill, we want to ensure divestment, not censorship.
Congress is at it again, and TikTok seems to be that bone that they just can't let go of.
This is not a joke. They are going to try to ban TikTok.
The app boasts more than 170 million U.S. users, ranging from local business owners and even political campaigns.
Trump or Biden?
Are you kidding? Biden.
Banning the app could take away their platform and, for some, a source of income.
It's really become central to the social media landscape. And so if you lose TikTok, then, you lose access to a lot of creators.
The bill, which still has several hurdles to surmount before it becomes law, will face its first committee vote on Thursday.
Jolene Kent, CBS News, Washington.
OpenAI has published emails from Elon Musk amid a legal fight. Musk sued the ChatGPT company last week for diverging from its original nonprofit mission in favor of profits. Tuesday night, OpenAI published several of Musk's emails from the early days of the company. He co-founded it in 2015 but left in 2018. They appear to show Musk acknowledging OpenAI needed to make a ton of money to fund the computing resources needed to power its AI ambitions. Coming up on Mountain News at 5:30, a study from AARP shows that nearly 60% of adults carry credit card debt balances from month to month. We'll take a look at how this impacts both financially and physically.
Plus, rain chances are back for Friday and to start the weekend. Those details after this break.